Hello. Um, Today I had like a random urge to talk about something because I want to see how this opinion develops as I get older. Right now I'm 21 and I've always had this opinion since forever. But I wanted to talk about like the potential of having children one day. I For me personally, I despise the thought. I don't want a child. I don't want a baby. I don't want a family. I don't want any of that. Um and I've never wanted a child and I've always been pretty adamant about it. I don't want a kid. And I'm open to the possibility that maybe that thought will change, but right now and for most of my life, I do not want children. I do not want kids. And as I've grown up, the reason for it has changed. Or to be quite honest, I've just developed more reasons why I don't want them. But I think the biggest one is, well, no, there isn't a biggest one. There are just different reasons why. But I guess a big influence as to why I wouldn't want children is because of my own upbringing. I've seen what happens when two parents are not ready to have a child. My mom had 9 other children before me, so I was her 10th child. And my dad only had me. I was his first child. And now he has another one. My brother, my little brother, I do not want kids. And the reason why I kind of thought about it was because my dad has been asking me on and off if I want kids. There's been a couple times where he's asked me if I'm a lesbian because I haven't gotten a boyfriend over the years. And the thing is that I don't know what the fuck is. I don't know. Is it their generation or something? I don't know what it is about their generation's obsession with finding a date or finding a boyfriend or a girlfriend. They really can't handle being lonely. And the thing is that I can and I have for most of my life. I mean, I have friendships. Maybe I'm like there's something wrong with me. Maybe. But I honestly don't see the point. And I feel like the concept of finding a partner you can share life with is so beautiful. That is like, but it seems so sacred to me. And I'm not even trying to be like religious or nothing. I do not care about what the fuck people do or what the fuck people believe as long as it don't hurt nobody. And but for me personally, I feel like when you are sharing your life with another person, that's a bond. And that's sacred as shit. And I don't mean sacred as in like heavenly or godly or I mean sacred as in very, very important. You are literally opening yourself up completely to another person. There is not another person on the planet that could see you completely like a partner. Not a child, not a cousin, not a niece or a nephew or a friend or a mother or a father or a sister or a brother. With your family, depending on which family member, there are certain things you hide. Not hide necessarily, but there are just certain things you do not share. You do not talk about sex with your parents in detail. You do not talk about sex with your siblings in detail. You know what I mean? And with your friends, you might talk more about sex with your friends than your family because they're your friends. You can be a bit more freer. But with a partner, you can talk about sex with them and have sex with them. Okay, that's a weird analogy, but like technically there's not anything you couldn't share with your partner. Well, if you found the right one. If there are things that you have to keep from them, I don't know. I feel like that's not, I feel like that you shouldn't have to feel that way. You should be able to talk to them about anything. Because they're like, they are literally the bridge between friend and family. You know what I mean? Because there are certain things you talk about with your friends that you wouldn't your family. And there are certain things that you would talk about your family to, or talk to with your family that you wouldn't really talk about with your friends, depending on how deep your friendship is or how strong your bond with your family is. But a partner, you could essentially do both. Anyways, back to the topic at hand with why I don't want kids. Firstly, I don't know if I can handle the severe change in a body in a woman's body as she is preparing to give birth to a child. I can't. It sounds terrifying to me. And it sounds kind of disgusting. It's natural. It is natural. Okay, don't get me wrong. It is a natural thing, but I can't, it's for me personally, like I can't imagine myself being like that. I feel like I would look disgusting pregnant. I mean, I already look disgusting, let's be for real, but I mean, I'd look 10 times worse. And also I don't know how good of a parent I would be. I'm not saying I'm like evil or I would be abusive or anything. Hell no. Like if for any reason I did end up having a child, they would become everything. I would do everything for my child because I mean, I may not have had children, but I've had parents before, and I've kind of seen and felt what happens when they don't do their job properly. Let's just keep it like that. Sorry. But when it comes to having kids, I've never understood why, like, there are people my age that have already had children. But at the same time, I guess I have to realize that they have support systems. They have families, they have their partner, For me, it's a bit different. I don't have any siblings that I know about. I've only met one of them, and things turned sour between me and her. Maybe one day I'll make a video about that. But I honestly cannot understand why anyone would want to have a child, especially right now in this current economy. Holy shit. To be honest, I can barely afford to take care of myself. I can barely deal with taking care of myself. I can't cook for shit. I have so much learning and development in my brain to do. I'm 21, but I feel like I'm just not mentally ready for that. I feel like I just came out of high school a year ago. You know what I mean? I still feel like I haven't grown up quite yet. I feel like a baby still. I'm not infantilizing myself because I'm too old for that shit. Literally too old for that shit. But at the same time, I think for me, it's just me realizing I'm dumb. Like, I'm really stupid when it comes to life. And I don't want to be scrambling, trying to find myself and find my bearings while also having a child. That child will remember that shit, because I do. When my parents were lackluster, I remember that shit. Because those are your formative years. I mean, those are the years that make you who you are. Of course you're gonna fucking remember. And so, I'm not saying, like, I'm gonna wait until I'm the perfect parent. Because if I wait for that, I'm gonna die without kids. To be fair, I'm also open to that possibility. I don't really see the need to have kids. But that really fucks me up as well, because I've always wanted No, that's not true. I feel like it's a nice thought to have a partner, but I know that a lot of men nowadays want to have children. I don't know why. Like, what the fuck is the point? You know, I don't know, something about carrying on their legacy or carrying on their bloodline or something, which is so dumb. Like, we possess brain capacity more than any other, and you're going to resort to such Neolithic thoughts. You sound like a fucking caveman. Me want breed woman. Me want generation. Me want, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Literally, what the fuck are you on about? Literally, what the fuck are you doing? No, but I mean, I don't care what anyone else does. I'm not against people who want to have kids. If you can provide a good life for your child and you are in, you know, a good place financially and, you know, you're mentally stable, please make sure you're fucking mentally stable. Don't be mentally unstable and have kids. Because I've been through that shit too. That's crazy. And I feel like that is a form of negligence. You know, when someone chooses to have children despite being fucking sick in the head. What are you doing, dude? What are you fucking doing? You're setting up that child for failure. That child will develop something because of you and the way you raise them. Like, dude, fucking sort out what the fuck is going on up here before you start pushing things out down there. What is going on? And that also brings me to another point where, like, being afraid of sex. Because I don't know how the fuck that shit works. Like, how do you just get pregnant right off the top? Like, if you don't have, you know, contraceptives? And even if you do that, there's still a chance to get pregnant? Oh my god. Like, that sounds like a fucking nightmare. Like, I would rather just not fuck at all. I don't want kids at all, period. Okay? And, you know, it's hard to really know when you're pregnant. Just so you guys know, I condone abortion. I'm you know, I'm pro-choice. But I feel like it's hard to know when you are pregnant until the baby is developed substantially, and then at that point you can't even get an abortion. Condoms, probably the best choice. People are always like, oh, but what's the fun in that? Literally, what the fuck is wrong with you? You fucking gooner bullshit. What the fuck? You know, I feel like people, if you are willing to have kids, do have as many cream pies as you want, okay? But I am not about that life. But then if I were with a man, he would probably at some point want me to take that condom up so he can just cream pie up in there. But I don't want a kid. I don't want them. I do not want them. At this point, I feel like maybe I should just get my fucking tubes tied. I don't want children at all. And I feel sad because sometimes when I think about it, you know, there are women that can't have kids and they want kids so bad. And it's like, that's sad, but also not my fucking problem. I don't know. I just empathize. I feel sad that I'm, you know, I'm perfectly working. Things are, well, as far as I fucking know, I have never had sex or had kids. So as far as I know, everything's working smoothly. But I don't know. I do not want children, dude. I'm fucking terrified of kids. And I'm terrified that I will fail as a parent. I don't want to have to deal with any of that. I feel like I'm mentally inept. I'm not mentally ready to have children. Because I don't want to be a bad parent because I'm mentally unstable. Like, I want to be there for them. I want to be the best I can. But, you know, I don't want to not be ready and then take it out on my child. That because it's not their fault. I fucking brought them here. That will be my responsibility. And so I'm kind of just like, dude, I'm honestly so lost. But the reason why I brought it up is because my dad, I think I already said that, but ever since I've become old enough to have kids, so it was basically 18, my dad has asked me on and off, hey, do you want kids? Would you have kids? When are you gonna have kids? And it's like, fucking dude, like, what the fuck, bro? Fuck up. You know, and it's so dumb because, a little bit of lore, you know, my dad wasn't very present when I was growing up. He tried to be back when I was, you know, growing up 1 to around 6 years old. He tried to be. And he just fucking failed. He was in and out of jail. Barely saw the cunt. And sometimes when I did see him, he'd start mocking my weight and, oh, I can see your gut in that. Oh, bro, your fucking gut is twice my gut. And I don't want to hear that shit from a man who's never been involved in my life. You know, as for my mum, she used to be very big as well. And that's so funny. You know, my dad always had something to say about my stomach, but he literally cracked a bigger woman to give birth to me. It's like, dude, like, what the fuck is up? You fucked a fat woman. Now you have a problem with your daughter being one? Like, what are you fucking up to, bro? But I don't know, maybe, like, this is a bit of an intrusive thought. This isn't the truth or anything, but growing up, you know, the way that my dad kind of treated me, kind of like as if I didn't exist, nonchalant. I'm glad that he didn't abuse me per se, but he was so not present. I think he's only ever hit me once, or twice actually. Twice, yeah. Both of them were pretty big times though, and I remember them like they were yesterday. But that's besides the point. I think the way that he treated me growing up as if I was something that he could pretend doesn't exist and then kind of be like, oh, hey baby, hey daughter. You know, he kind of like was on and off about this fatherhood thing, and it's like, dude, I kind of thought to myself, man, my mom must have like forced herself on him to give birth to me because he doesn't even like me. That's a really sad thought. But it's been a thought that I've had ever since I was young, because, you know, he sometimes, you know, he would treat me like his daughter, and then sometimes, you know, it just sounds like he doesn't want me to exist at all. And I think, you know, my whole life he's been wrestling with like, oh, it's not her fault, oh, but she's the result of something that happened to me. Because like I said, at the time, like, growing up, I was his only child. He just had a child earlier this year. Actually, my brother's not even 1 year old yet. And I'm 21. There's a 20-year difference. Isn't that crazy? But yeah, I think all of that has fed into my fear of having kids. And having a partner, honestly, because I can't imagine having to explain all this shit to a partner and to their family, that I basically don't have much of a family. And it's really complicated and convoluted. I wasn't raised by my parents. Because I feel like after I share all that, if anything happened between me and said partner, it would be very hurtful. And I don't know if I'm mentally ready for that either. And in conclusion, I'm good with being alone. And I don't know if my dad understands that. I always joke about wanting a partner, but when I really think about it, it's like, this is someone who's going to be in my space 24/7. I don't know if I can deal with that shit. Like, I need at least an hour or two by myself every day. But you don't get that luxury when you're with a partner, unless your partner goes to work and then comes home, or you go to work. Well, no, that doesn't count, because that's not time to yourself that you want. That's just time to yourself at work. But you know what I mean. I just don't know if I can, you know, it's a nice thought, but the reality of it doesn't sound very nice to me. Anyways, I don't know, maybe I sound fucking insane. Some people say that, you know, our purpose in life is to repopulate the earth. And it's like, dude, you're going to reduce your entire existence and the whole life you've been given to just having children. There is so much more to do in this world. And having children is only one of many experiences that you can choose to experience at once. You can have kids and do other things. It's not your only purpose. What are you talking about? And I can't help but think that that's because of, like, certain religious shit. I don't know what religion though. I think it's a bunch of them where they think, oh, we have to repopulate the earth. Oh, we have to have sex and be subservient to our husbands and all that. It's like, dude, what the fuck? What the fucky? What is this shit? Literally. Is this really what God wanted? Cause this shit is crazy, dude. I feel like humanity has really scared me. Oh, it's raining. And it's raining really hard too. Wow. It hasn't rained since I've moved here. It's like my first time seeing the rain, like, drop on these windows. Anyway. That's all I wanted to talk about. Also, did you peep that I got furniture? There are 2 drawers. There's one here as well, but you can't see it. And I have couches. I have 2 couches. I can't really move my Mac much because, there's stuff around it, but there's a couch there. That's a smaller one. And there's a 3-seater on the side that I'm on. They're facing that way. But I have furniture now. Slay the house. Finally. Because for other past vlogs, you've seen my shit on the floor. Sorry about the weird kind of dark... I don't know. It's not a dark subject, but it's kind of like... It was like serious-ish. But yeah. I just... I'm just not ready for children, dude. I just want to live my life and not have to deal with all that shit. Cause I don't know, dude. I would rather, like, imagine me having a child right now in this 1-bedroom apartment. I know the child wouldn't know the fucking difference, but I want my child to grow up in a home, you know, and I can't provide that for my kid right now. I want my kid to have everything, you know. I want my kid to go to a good school, have his own room, you know. If he wants to play with toys, I want to be able to afford those toys. Or he or she. Why am I acting like I just want a son? Bro, if I had a daughter, I would be so... a little mini me. Oh. Also, can we talk about how fucking weird boy moms are? Oh my god, that could be a different video all in itself. Because, bro, do I have an opinion on boy moms? They're fucking some of them are fucking weird. It's like almost incestual. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. Yuck. Anyways, that's all. Honestly, bro, the way I can't even remember what I fucking talked about in the beginning. I mean, I know the essence of this video is me talking about me being kind of iffy about pregnancy. But yeah, I think, you know, this whole time me yapping has just made me realize that I just don't like people. Like, I mean, I like the idea of a partner, and I like the idea of having a family, but the reality of it, yeah, dude, no go. Can't even afford to take care of myself. But honestly, I would rather suffer alone than put that onto an innocent soul like a child's. They innocent. They don't know shit. They can't defend themselves. They can't speak for themselves. That's why they need parents. And I think, you know, growing up the way I did, I was exposed to what happens when a parent really does neglect their child's needs. And I don't want any of my children to feel that way. because if they did, I would know that I failed. But yeah. Is this just performative anxiety? Like a performance anxiety where like, oh, I don't want kids because I'm afraid I'll be a bad parent. But like, maybe usually those who are afraid to be bad parents turn out to be okay. Whereas those who think that they're really gonna be really good and stuff, and then they turn out to be like subpar bullshit parents. Okay. Bye bye.